got another heater core job. It's not my first, second, third, and won't be the last, but there's not a lot of information about doing heater cores on this. This is Chevy. What is this? Hold on. That's a Chevy EQUINOX. Sorry, yeah, I can't remember anything. So the thing is, this is too lengthy of a job to really even go point for point about how to do this, because I mean, the skill level of this is quite extensive. So I mean, I wouldn't even recommend the average Joe Blow just like, hey, like, let me go ahead and knock this out. But I wound up counting how many screws I took out of this car. I mean, it was like a 7mm I needed, Phillips 10 and a 13, and you can take all this apart, except for the exception of some pliers, and they get the hoses off from the heater core in the engine compartment. I counted 97 bolts, and I did it without taking out the chairs. As you can see, the seats are still in here, so it can be done. I remember I looked at one video, and some guy took out a lot of unnecessary things. So, but I mean, either way, I mean, I have to follow directions just like anybody else when it comes to removal and replacement of things. So, and that's why I'm pretty sure he didn't. I don't fault the guy. He did the best he could with what he had. However, but I'll digress right now. So, yeah, 97 bolts. I think it wound up being like right at 100. I want to say right at 100 on the dot. Pulling out some of these. So these are various modules and stuff on the ground. The heater core was leaking on this car, and the floorboard wound up getting wet. It was pretty obvious. Let me see if you can peel this back. You can see some of the fluid there. It collected on the driver's side. But while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it's like to pull this out when you do get all of this out. So just in case. And oh yeah, the entire interior of the car is literally in the back. So it's just this is just part of it. I can't begin to tell you the amount of panels, the extent of work you're going to have to go through just to get all this stuff out. And it's nothing like when this HVAC housing is literally held in by two 10mm nuts. That's it, just two. So everything else is all interior, and this is where you're going to be sitting. You know, you're just going to be all here all day, just pulling this stuff out. Labor time on this is 10 hours. So that was motor time. There was another labor guide I utilized, Chilton. They claim, but this is dealer time. Claim it was like 7. It was dealer time, 7 hours. That for like somebody like me or other mechanic, that's bullshit. I mean, it's gonna take every bit of like that 10 hours. But you know, if you had to go around again, I don't think it would be that bad. Oh shit! Screwing up. There's another one down there. Nope, it's okay. Right. So this baby is almost delivered. So just slide right on out. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Sure. What was that? Oh, there we're leaking. Let me get it out of here. This is what we're looking like. It's like it's leaking in this corner down here. Flip it over. It'll start leaking in that corner. Right down there somewhere. Well, I guess it hasn't been really leaking that bad to the point where, you know, it started having some like residue. But I know in like I guess it's this Dex Cool formula, when it gets leaking, it'll really start to crud up, but they caught it early on, so which is a good thing. Other than that, I'm gonna get another one in here, aftermarket one. Hopefully we don't have this problem. So I'm gonna get some insulator, like a weather strip, and I can just cut that up and put that in the corresponding areas here, so get a good seal on it. Yeah, it's leaking pretty bad. Other than that, but I guess because I'm like halfway through, this seems to be more of, oh gosh, I did not see that. It was, nah, it's relaxed. It's all right. I guess because I'm only like halfway through it, I didn't. It's looking a little better. So everything I put back on this car is going to be actual progress versus just removal. So I'm gonna get a rag and get that cleaned up inside of there, get that water out, and it'll be perfect. But at least it'll slow down some of that steam that was coming out the vents. After a while, it'll evaporate once winter comes. But other than that, I mean, I don't think I have any pointers as far as getting this out, but for the exception of, you don't have to remove the seats. But they were 2 Torx bit type screws in the back. Pull those out. You can slide the seat out and remove it and disconnect necessary connectors. You know, the pedal assembly still in there. Let's see. This is aftermarket. They had something else in here. Other than that, I mean, I would assume it's just pretty much cut and dry as any sort of, you know, I'm just saying sort of because all of them are different. But as far as following directions to remove this, other than that, this is where we are, and I wish the best of luck to anyone who has to do this. So, just got done with this heater core job on the EQUINOX, and I'm gonna say it took every bit. Turn this blower down. It took every bit of 10 hours, I'll say. I'll just wipe it off, get my fingerprints off the window and everything, and checking over the leaking, if there's any, on those 2 hoses in the back, because I know sometimes aftermarket heater cores, the diameter might not be the same as the factory, and it could cause leaking, which is not a good thing. But I don't know if I want to provide any pointers. I would say the only difficult thing about this, yes, you have a crap ton of bolts you have to pull out, was getting the center console out. Once you get that out, it's not as bad getting the rest of the stuff. But like I said, it's a lot of things you're gonna have to pull off. Again, it was 100 bolts, so you can imagine having to pull off 100 bolts. And I really feel for the person who has to do this by hand. So I really don't recommend that. If you could get like an electronic driver or something, man, that's definitely gonna be your best friend. Other than that, there was some codes that had to be cleared out in the modules because all the modules were disconnected, and I didn't disconnect the battery or anything. So let me make sure those are fine. The HVAC basically need to be recalibrated. Let me go back and do a scan. Let's see if there's any codes left. It shouldn't be any. Software calibration. It says not learned, but I did go through that. Let's see if it'll clear up. Nope. Let's try it again. Probably because I didn't. Let me see if I can clear it first. Nope. All right, let's try to calibrate it. Air circulation function. Shows HVAC relearn. So turn to on. Let me just follow directions with this. Turn in the on position. Continue. Honestly, I had the car running while I was doing it. You're switching now. I think the only thing I didn't do was turn the key off when it requested and turn it back on. So let me actually go through the steps as requested. So turn ignition off and then back on. I did. Okay. Let's go. I thought I was going to continue. Clear DTCs. Let's go here. Clear it. Oh, so no fault codes detected. Awesome. Alright, so just to be on the safe side, let's see what it is. Cool. Let's go back here. Cool, awesome. So yeah, when I calibrated the first time, the car was running and I was driving, which is totally unsafe. But it worked. So it was some issues with it was a calibration problem. Just gonna go back just to be on the safe side, see what it is. So yeah, all right, yeah, awesome. Other than that, I think this car is good to go. I don't have any leaks on the engine compartment, and you know I didn't even test the heat, see if the heat worked. Yeah, the heat's working. I mean, this sucker blows. This sucker blows. AC's still on. Oh yeah. I didn't even try the heat, honestly. As soon as I got the car running, I just cut the AC on. But I didn't want to. I mean, from what I understand, this doesn't have a heater control valve, so it's kind of pointless to do that. All right, so this car's, the heat's working, AC's working, the HVAC module's calibrated, and there's no fault codes. This car is cleaned up. There is no issues, no discrepancies. Everything went smooth. I think we're good, man. Hey, if this car decides not to work, you're not gonna know. Have that reassurance. Subscribe to my channel. Stay informed. See you on the next one.